All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Today's date is October 19th, 2021. Welcome to episode 6 of Real Talk Tuesdays. All right, well, as usual, there's never a shortage of things to talk about, whether it be in the news or, sports or entertainment. And for many of you who know or may not know, that's what Real Talk Tuesdays is about. It's a freestyle, if you will, for me to get an opportunity to kind of talk about, what's in the news and what, the latest happenings, the latest in sports or, entertainment, music, whatever. It's whatever I feel like. But before I even go any further with the episode, let me just say, or rather, I'd like to give a shout out to brother Andrew, his beautiful wife Malaka, brother William, sister Rebecca, brother Patrick, and brother Curtis for you all making a donation to me in the ministry. I really appreciate that, and may the Most High bless you all in abundance for doing that. And it wasn't about the amount. It was about just the fact that you gave from your heart. And I appreciate that. That has been far and few in between for me over the years, as many of you may know. And so for you all to do that, I think it was right. It was only right for me to give you all a shout out and let you know how much, I appreciate you doing that, really, sincerely. Okay. Wow, man. I guess the biggest thing right now going on, General Colin Powell just recently passed. They said of COVID complications. But I also understand that he was dealing with an underlying issue of cancer of some type. So I'm assuming that had a lot to do with the complications he had because of the virus, because his family said that he was fully vaccinated. So I really don't understand the narrative. They're pushing people to get fully vaccinated, yet you can still die from it. People still can get COVID from it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've read articles where some star or somebody or whatever say that they are fully vaccinated, yet they're still getting the virus. And then the narrative switched once it came out that people are still getting the virus, even though they're vaccinated. That, well, if you get vaccinated, it won't be as bad. We're not saying that you won't get it, but it won't be as bad. I mean, what kind of narrative is that, man? I mean, it just makes no sense to me. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm anti-vax or I'm pro-vax or anything like that. I'm just speaking the news and my thoughts about it. You all know how I am and how I do. Okay, I don't give advice. I listen and I ask questions. Right. I'm a firm believer that you can't tell anyone grown what to do or what not to do. But it just but this is where we're headed, my people. It's real subtle, but the government came out and said that if any company has at least 100 employees or more, then there's a vaccine mandate. And I also understand that the governor of Texas is pushing back against that. I just don't know if his executive order supersedes a federal mandate. So that has yet to be seen. But the Republican governor, his name escapes me right now, but he's pushing back on the federal government's vaccine mandate. So this is kind of where we are, my people. I mean, we're not quite there yet, and it's real subtle. But basically, I can see where it's going, and it's like either you're going to get vaccinated, or you're not going to be able to be employed or get a job anywhere. That's kind of where we're headed. It's real subtle right now. They're trying to say it's a confusing narrative because they're saying, well, it's your choice. We're not forcing it, but they actually are forcing it, because if you as an adult make a decision for yourself and your family not to be vaccinated, right? Well, hey, that's your choice, right? But to turn around and say that you can't make a living to support your family, basically, if you don't get vaccinated. I mean, what's that if that's not indirect force, right? They're compelling you without compelling you to get vaccinated. Now, I do understand that, we're in a pandemic, and, I get it. And everyone has to do their part, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing, though. I mean, as bad as COVID has been, we've had worse viruses throughout our history. People they barely talk about the Spanish flu, or, and what happened to Ebola, right? Swine flu, or the HN1, I believe it was called, or whatever. But never have we been so enamored with with us needing to be vaccinated. So, and the reason why there's a lot of pushback against it is because the vaccine was developed so quickly. So there's a distrust factor there, and especially for the people that look like me, given the history of the country. Okay, and everyone remembers the Tuskegee experiment and all that. So, historically, there's a reason why the people that look like me are hesitant. And it's just like the push is so hard and arduous, and so people are questioning and pushing back. There are people in the medical field, nurses and some doctors who refuse to take the vaccine. So that in itself is extremely telling. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to me. You're fully vaccinated, and you got people walking around like with this false sense that because they're vaccinated, they're protected and they're cool. No, you're not cool. But see, that's how the media does. It paints the false narratives. It gives us the narratives it wants us to have, and people are literally walking around thinking because they're quote unquote fully vaccinated, everything is cool. No, everything is not cool. However, people are still dying. People are still getting it, even being fully vaccinated. So the decision rather to do so or not is totally up to you. What's best for you, and your family, but I kind of see where this is going. Yes, there's pushback, but it's going to get to a point where you won't be able to even get a job if you're not vaccinated, right? And I just think it's just so many things with that. But what I want you all to know, I did a video some time ago about I think it was called something like "Eat to Live" or something to that effect. It was a really, really good video. I really wish a lot more people had seen that video. But in it, I talked about how, because people always say, well, I want to do my research. You do my research. Well, what does that mean, though, right? Doing your research is finding out exactly how viruses work, right? Is exactly how the body works, right? Understanding that viruses need a host, and viruses attach, and it has to attach to a host to be able to replicate, to cause havoc in your body, in your system. So how does that work? How do you negate that? How do you grossly deactivate a virus from replicating with any host cells in your body? See, stuff like that. I'm not a doctor, but what I just told you, I know because I actually did the research. That's doing the research. Doing the research is not listening to some cockamamie blog or about some conspiracy theorists and what they're saying about the government and the virus. That's not doing your research. Doing the research is what I just told you all about understanding not only how viruses work, but how the body works, right? And how important it is to keep your immune up strong and healthy to fight off viruses. Because I stand on the fact, my brothers, sisters, and sojourners, that everything that we need, every cure to man, known to man, for every known disease, virus, whatever, I believe is in the Bible. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I stand on that. However, we don't use that. A lot of people, the average person, that something goes wrong, they want to run to the doctor. Well, I do understand that, there are times when, you have to kind of break down and go and get seen by a medical professional or a doctor. I get it. However, there are a lot of things we can do to help keep ourselves healthy and strong, with our immune. I covered a lot of things in that video, so I won't kind of regurgitate much of what I said in that video, just kind of go and check it out. I'm going to try to put the link to that video in this one, if I can figure that out. So you can just kind of click right on it. But yeah, when I spoke about real quick about oxygenation of the blood. When the body is highly oxygenated, it's very difficult to impossible for any type of virus to thrive and to live inside a body that's highly oxygenated. And how do you do that? There's something called hyperbaric oxygen treatments, or HBOT for short, right? Because I've done it and I do it, and it keeps the body oxygenated, right? So that's one thing that you can do to help ward off or kill off any so-called viruses. Now, the thing about the alternative treatments like HBOT is that, medical professionals will tell you, oh, well, it's not really, medically proven, this and that, yada, yada, yada. And that's because, not saying that they're cynical, but, wink, wink, they don't make any money by us doing alternative things to make sure that we're healthy and that where our body is optimized to ward off viruses, sickness, and diseases, right? Because if doctors started, if we all started healing ourselves and curing ourselves of things, well, heck, they'd be out of business. But yeah, read up on it. Do the research, right? Do the research on HBOT, hyperbaric oxygen treatment, right? LeBron James does that, and that's how he recovers so quickly with a lot of his injuries over the years. Of course, he's older now, so of course, the older you get, you're not going to recover as quickly. But the bottom line is, he recovers, right? And he uses hyperbaric oxygen treatments to assist in doing that. And I really believe that that's one of the reasons why he's had such a long career after 19 years of 19 grueling years of basketball in the NBA, which many of that included a lot of playoff basketball, which adds even more wear and tear to his body and to his legs. So, I believe that to be true. So research that. Also, something else you might want to check out, which is really interesting, is something called trace minerals. Trace minerals, and they include zinc, manganese, selenium, and copper. Those 4 trace minerals tend to stop viruses from replicating, and the manganese actually rejects it outright. If it tries to enter your body, it deactivates it. Now, again, research that, right? Don't take that as truth or take that as any advice. Or what I'm saying is research trace minerals, because what I do, among everything else I've shared with you all, every morning I put a drop of each of those minerals in some Gatorade. Cold Gatorade, about 5 ounces. Now taste it; it's pretty bitter and everything. So you might want to chase it with something else. But it's worth it to me. It's worth it, and it's helpful. So please do the research on trace minerals and how it reacts to viruses inside the body. Okay, this is not medical advice of any type. I recommend you all go to the CDC, and check out what they're saying as far as the COVID vaccine and all that. But I'm saying alternatively, research trace minerals. Arm yourself with knowledge and information. That's doing the research. Before all this virus talk and all this COVID and stuff, I never knew about trace minerals. But me doing the research, that's how I found out about it. That's what doing the research means. Okay? So, because, you have Kyrie Irving. I don't know if many of you are basketball fans, but, he's pretty much a superstar player. He plays for the New York Nets, and he refuses to get vaccinated. So as a result, he cannot play in any games. He can't even practice with his team unless he gets fully vaccinated, and it doesn't appear that he's going to do that. So ultimately, if he does not, they're saying that they may trade him. Now, the knock against Kyrie, if any of you know anything about him in basketball, is that he's always been somewhat of a distraction on the teams that he's been on, but he's never been able to really win without LeBron James. Before LeBron James came back to Cleveland. Kyrie Irving, the Cleveland Cavaliers drafted Kyrie, and he was a sensational player. He a heck of a dribbler. He can dribble the ball. He's a really good player, but he took them nowhere until LeBron James came back to Cleveland and taught him how to win and brought Cleveland his first championship. So ever since that, he got real jealous. He asked for a trade because he felt he wanted to be the quote-unquote man. So they traded him to Boston. He did absolutely nothing there. They did better without him when he was out of the lineup, as a matter of fact. So he went from Boston. They traded him to the Nets. And again, they got KD and what's that boy from Houston, Harden, together. All this offensive firepower and everything, and they both Harding and Kyrie toward the end got hurt in the playoffs. So they was making a deep run there, so that killed their championship chances. So now we're dealing with this, and he's just kind of refusing to get the vaccine, but it's kind of unclear why. And that's kind of the knock against him. Like, he's saying something about because people are losing their jobs, something, yada, yada, yada. Then he said he's not anti-vax, but at the same time, it's like he really kind of is. So it's like, no one really knows where he's coming from or where he stands and why. Like, what does he expect to gain from this? I mean, 'cause from what I understand, if he doesn't get vaccinated, he's turning down 4 years and almost $200 million. That's a lot of money. So if you're going to, and I'm saying that to say that not because it's about the money, but if you're going to turn down that kind of money, what I'm saying is it better be for a damn good reason. At least be able to articulate why, make it make sense, right? And now, I'm not saying that a person's a personal conviction or feelings has to be validated or quantified or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that that's a serious stance. Now, if you want to be seen as, Colin Kaepernick, taking a stand, okay, that's fine. But tell us what the stand is. Like, what do you expect to gain from this, right? You're not being vaccinated, because it sounds like to me it's like it's a personal choice. He said he doesn't feel comfortable taking the vaccine. Okay, cool, right? So, being who you are, you can't expect not to be questioned, dude. You're a superstar in the NBA. To whom much is given, much is required. You can't expect people not to talk about it, not to ask you certain questions and want to know why with certain things. I mean, you owe that to the people. You owe that to your organization. You owe that to your fans to a lesser degree even. There's a lot of people that support you. There's a lot of people that buy your jersey. There's a lot of people that pay good money to come and see you play. So I don't want to hear this stuff about, you want some privacy and this and that. I mean, listen, man, it's what you signed up for. I think the other young brother, Kendrick Perkins, alluded to that. Like, dude, you kind of gave that up when you signed up for the NBA and you became this superstar that everyone's interested in or whatever. I mean, he's already made a lot of money, so he did go on record as saying that, hey, man, it ain't about the money. So if it's not about the money, Kyrie, please enlighten us. What is it about? I'd really like to know. I mean, I don't have any dog in the fight either way. You're a grown man. That's your personal choice. We all know that, right, wrong, and different choices come with consequences, right? So I don't judge anyone on the decisions they make. Just make informed decisions, not no cockamamie conspiracy theories and reading some way out blog or some far right blog about some just far out conspiracies and this and that. Come with facts, man. Come with facts, and I'll respect it personally. But yeah, so that's that with Kyrie. They say that almost 96% or 97% of the league is vaccinated. So I mean, I guess there's a few holdouts. I know that boy Andrew Wiggins, a young fella for the Golden State Warriors. He broke down. He got it. He got the shot. When he was adamant that he didn't want to get it, he wasn't comfortable, but then he started talking about it, his family and the money, and they got him, so, and I understand, I get it, not judging that young brother. He did what he felt he had to do, and he said in the conference, though, like, I was forced to get it. He let that be known, but rather he was forced to not, he got it, so he got it, but he let it be known that he did not want to get it, but he was placed in the position where he had to. We just living in some very precarious times, man. And I tell you, when you don't have say over your own body or what goes into it, that's concerning to me, man. It really is. It's disheartening, and it's sad, this is where we've come as a society. I mean, it feels almost, I don't know. It's just a weird time right now. I mean, I get the whole pandemic thing, and people are dying from COVID, but I still don't understand why are people actually dying from a virus. I have yet to see or hear of any news station or whatever report on. They keep saying complications and underlying health issues. What does that mean? Why are people dying from a virus? Like, viruses can be deactivated. Viruses can be controlled. It can. People don't have to die because of viruses. Just look at where they've come in terms of how long people live now with that HIV virus, right? So they have enough. They have the kind of medication, stuff like that, where they're prolonging lives with people having that HIV virus. Look at Magic. It hasn't come out officially. They haven't come out officially and said it, but I believe Magic is cured. And Magic has been cured for years with that HIV virus. It never developed into AIDS for him. His virus has been non-existent, or I forget what the term is called, undetectable levels. There we go. His body, he's had undetectable levels of HIV in his body for years. That's why Magic is living his life, getting older, getting middle-aged, spread, fat, and happy with his wife. And I'm happy for him, right? But don't tell me that people have to die because of these viruses, because I know that's not true, and they know that's not true. But the narrative is that vaccine. Well, apparently the vaccine ain't all that if people are still getting it. I mean, 'cause remember when we were small and we had to get the chicken pox and the measles vaccine, they shoot the little thing in your arm, you get the little starfish looking thing in your arm, whatever the case may be. Yeah, those vaccines work because it took them a long time to develop them, to test them out, and they were effective vaccines. With this COVID vaccine, man, the reason why, again, like I said, the reason why there's so much pushback is because of the speed by which the vaccine was designed and when it came out, right? They told us there's no cure for a virus. You can't cure a virus, just like with the flu. So so what is it for? Make it make sense. And how come we came up with it so fast? So I don't know. It's just as far as there are things to think about. With the virus, but please do your research on HBOT or hyperbaric oxygen treatments and keeping your blood oxygenated so that cells, no virus can attach to a host cell and replicate. Do that, and then research the trace minerals: zinc, manganese, selenium, and copper. Those are the four main trace minerals that helps negate viruses in the body. So at the very least, I'd say it's helpful, right? But research it and see what you think. Make your own decisions and conclusions. Okay. On another note, lighter note, I think it was night before last, for all you hip hop aficionados, there was a versus battle between Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One, and if any of you know of me, I'm a big hip hop head. As a matter of fact, those two guys are from my era, literally, right? So I thought it was a real nice nice show. Kind of nostalgic. Brought back some memories of how the quote unquote golden age of hip hop used to be before all the foolishness that's out there now. It was a pretty good show. But if I'm being honest, and I had to pick a winner, being old school as myself, I would have to say Kane got the edge over KRS-One. Not because he was, lyrically better or anything like that. Actually, I think KRS-One probably would edge him if he actually rapped his lyrics, but he didn't. He did this kind of songy, sing-songy type style of reciting his lyrics, which was at first was kind of cool, but then it dawned on me he was doing that because that's the way of him conserving his breath control. Well, Kane didn't have that problem. Kane was not winded. He rapped all of his lyrics, right? Literally, he was even jumping up and down and doing his lyrics. He never got winded one time. KRS-One kept soliciting the crowd to assist him to finish his bars, and again because I think he was winded and he couldn't. So that Kane never did that. Kane rapped. I mean, he even did the little fast rap, tongue twisting type rap, And I mean, he just really represented. Then they had a couple guest appearances that came out. I think Kane's guest appearance of Nice and Smooth were better than Daz Effects. Plus, they did a breakdance sequel, representing hip hop, right? And again, I think Kane's breakers were better. He had Crazy Legs from the legendary Rocksteady crew on his side, and I think Kane's breakdances were better. Like I said, not because everyone that knows Chris knows that his position as one of the greatest hip hop lyricists, is solidified. And this is no knock to Chris. I love KRS-One as an artist, right? His position is solidified. However, his performance, nah, man, didn't do it for me. Sorry. I'm not a fanboy like that. I'm gonna call it like I see it. I'm old school. And his performance was not good. He got winded. He didn't rap his lyrics. Like he told Scratch, him and Kane was there to battle each other, not Scratch battling Kid Capri. Well, I turned the same thing around to KRS-One. Kane came there to battle you, not you and the crowd. For him to get the crowd to finish every bar of his songs, I just think was just super whack. So for that, I think I give the edge to Kane, man. Long live the Kane. He did that. He came and represented. He didn't falter. He didn't get winded. He represented for a 50-plus-year-old man. Mad respect and props to Big Daddy Kane for that. He did that. You all tell me what you think for all the hip hop aficionados. The Lakers, my boy LeBron James. I'm a big LeBron supporter. That young fella has made me so proud. I'm not his dad, but I'm proud of him. As a father with a son. I mean, he came from nothing, and this young man is worth almost $1 billion and still active in the NBA. That is unheard of. The type of money he's generated, just the type of power he has. But with that being said, this is his 19th year. They're making jokes. He's got all these older players on his team, which I don't negate that because of their age. He got my boy Carmelo, got Rajon Rondo back. Veteran point guard. I'm a little concerned about Westbrook, but Westbrook is he's a superstar caliber player. His athleticism is unmatched, especially as a point guard. He's probably the most athletic point guard that's ever played in the NBA. He just can't shoot worth nothing, and he's prone to turnovers. Well, they're like 0-6, man, in the preseason. They're trying to, downplay it, saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just the preseason. It don't count." Well, it's only so long you can say that, though, right? Okay, eventually, the season's starting real soon, so we're gonna see what they do against Golden State tonight, with pretty much the starters playing, whatever. I think LeBron got at least one more ring in him, and I think this is it. This is it. I think, once he gets to 20, he's going to get that all-time scoring record from Kareem. He'll end with 5 rings. I really don't think he'll get a 6th. I'd be very surprised if he did. But I tell you, it's going to be hell getting this 5th one. But I'll go on record as saying this though, because LeBron has taken a lot less talent to the finals and stuff like that. Of course, he was a lot younger. But if he can't get it done with this squad, he's literally got a squad of all-stars and Hall of Famers. Don't forget Dwight Howard is on the squad as well. Anthony Davis, who's not old, who's a young talent, big man. They got a lot of really good shooters and role players around him. So if LeBron does not win the chip this year, as sad as it is to say, but it's over for him. And I'm not counting him out because I know LeBron, right? Everywhere he's went, I've went with him. I've only done that to 2 players in history. No, I'm sorry, 3. Charles Barkley, didn't matter where he went, I went where he went. Allen Iverson and Michael Vick. Those 3 were my guys over the years. No matter where they went, I supported them. So I'm like that with LeBron. So I'm not counting him out. That's my guy. But I'm being realistic though. It's like he's ageless. But the fact of the matter is, he's up there. He's his 19th year. And with the talent he has around him now, if he does not get it done this year, I'm going on record as saying it's over with. He's done. Because if he don't get it this year, it's not going to happen. I mean, he's had a hell of a run, man. His resume, when it's all said and done, is going to be like no other that we've seen. Now, rather that makes him the GOAT or the greatest, NBA player of all time, well, that's to be argued. But I know one thing: when it's all said and done, his resume is going to be insane. I mean, can you imagine that? A forward in the top 10 in assists and rebounds. I mean, and being the all-time leading scorer. He's not even known to be a scorer. That's the crazy part. So anyway, my brothers and sisters, that's that for today. Those are my thoughts on this Real Talk Tuesdays. So let me all know what you think about whatever you want to, and any of the topics I talked about. And until next time, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying, Hayabaya Shem Yeshu Hamashiach Baruch Atu Adonai. Shalom, Elect.